Spencer, how are you physically?
I'm good, man.
Everybody's got to know.
I'm good, man. We're it's no matter how you feel, it's always one day at a time and getting ready for season and getting ready for those first matches coming up. So they're coming up in like 3 weeks. So
Do you have a word or a phrase to describe your journey?
uh man, that's a great question. I would say it was arduous. Would be a good word. It was long, arduous. But in a good way. Like I've enjoyed it the entire time. It didn't matter about injuries or whatnot because I always had the best staff and the best teammates that helped push me along the way to get me through this. So, but it's been a long journey. I mean, 6 years in college. I didn't redshirt, so I was supposed to be 4 and done. And then the COVID year happened, and then I had injuries happen, and I had missed last year. So that's not the word I would describe.
Are you as hungry as you were when you came in 6 years ago?
Oh man, you have no idea. I haven't even achieved even an iota of what I wanted to. So we're still working on it.
So you're maybe even hungrier now than when you
I've always been. I haven't done anything that I've never actually achieved the goal that I've set in my life. So if that gives you an idea of where I'm at.
How physically do you do it? So you wrestle with no ACLs and now they're repaired. Like what physical demands did that bring out of you, and how can you actually do it? What has the staff told you?
Well, so are you asking me how I wrestle without ACLs?
Yes, and then
essentially.
how you're wrestling now.
Okay, so the thing about wrestling without ACLs is people always talked about pain. It's not as much the pain. Pain is going to happen obviously when you have anterior cruciate ligament gone, right? But it's more like the fear of it giving out in random situations because ACLs can give out anytime. So when you only have one ACL tear, you can kind of compensate with the other leg. But when you had both, that's where there's no really compensation because let's say you compensate on one leg and that gives out, and you go to step the other leg and that gave out. Can you imagine that situation? Very, very hard, very difficult. And that's where the physical therapy came into play, and you got to keep your legs bent and keep strong. And if you're keeping your legs bent and you're keeping strong, less of a chance of your knees giving out, more of a chance of you wrestling. The hardest part about wrestling with no ACLs was being unable to actually explode, shoot, wrestle how I'm used to wrestling in any capacity really, or in training. So those are the difficulties that I would say that came with having no ACLs. But I could wrestle to some extent, and I was able to wrestle to an extent that I needed to, which is what I did, right? So.
You're going after the 4. Where does that matter now?
Well, the thing is, it's the next one's always the most important one. So it is the most important one because it is the next one. So, but the thing is, 4 is a big deal. I would be the first to ever do it for Iowa. That's awesome. That's amazing. But for me, it's getting through the season healthy. Wrestling as hard as I can and scoring as many points as I can in every match. And if I do that, then titles will come, and then those accolades can be said, and then you guys can have a lot more questions for me, right? So.
What do you see from these other guys in the room? I mean, this roster has evolved over the time here.
Yeah, well, it's fun because this year there are 14 freshmen and 3 transfers, so there are 17 new guys on the team, and that's definitely been a difference for me because I've been used to the same guys that were here for a very long time, 5 years, almost all of them, right? So when you're used to that same group of guys and a bunch of new guys come in, it's like, what do I got to do? Tom always says that maybe I'm more of a player coach kind of thing. So I do try and talk to the guys, try and be somewhat of a mentor to them, but I am also at the same time, you could say, I don't want to say selfish, but I am worried about myself more than anything because it is a team individual sport. It's team as in we win as a team, but it's individual sport as in you wrestle as an individual, right? So I'm more focused on myself, but I love helping them and love seeing them develop and how they've been growing as they are. It is fun because last time I saw freshmen, our classes have been pretty small over the last 5 years that I've been here. This is the biggest class we've had, and it shows that we're a young team and we're ready. We're continuing to grow, and then when our 3 seniors leave, it's a whole new team basically.
But you
right?
realize the impact you've made on this program since you've had, right?
Well, I mean,
someday we'll be talking about the Spencer Lee days.
Well, I appreciate that, and I say that is I'm not done yet, and I hope to leave more of a lasting impact in the program and on and off the mat as well. So.
How hard is physical therapy every day and surgeries compared to wrestling?
I would say physical therapy is more like a mental